In 2019, a man casually browsing Google Maps in Wellington noticed something disturbing behind a house. At first, it looked like a dark shape floating in a pond, but when he zoomed in closer, it looked like a body. What he didn't realize at the time was that he had just discovered a missing person who had been gone for over 2 decades. William Moult disappeared in November 1997 after a night out in Lantana. He never returned home, and despite investigations, no clear leads were ever found. Over time, the case went cold. Years passed. The area where he was last seen began to change. New neighborhoods were built, and land that was once empty became residential communities with houses, backyards, and small retention ponds. By 2019, most people had forgotten about the case, until a neighbor made a strange discovery. A resident living near Moon Bay Circle in Wellington was looking at his neighborhood on Google Maps. He had recently gotten a new computer and was exploring the satellite view out of curiosity. As he zoomed in on a nearby house, something unusual caught his eye. Behind the house, in a small pond, there was a faint outline of something beneath the water. It didn't look like debris. It didn't look natural. It looked like a car. The man adjusted the zoom and contrast. The image became clearer. It was definitely a vehicle, submerged just a few feet from the edge of the pond. What made it even stranger was how visible it was. The water was shallow enough that the shape of the car could be clearly seen from above, and yet no one in the neighborhood had ever reported it. The man showed the image to his neighbor, who owned the house next to the pond. They both agreed something wasn't right, so they contacted the local authorities. Police arrived and checked the pond. Within minutes, they confirmed there was indeed a submerged vehicle. Divers were called in. When they pulled the car out of the water, they made a disturbing discovery. Inside the vehicle were human remains. The license plate and vehicle identification matched a car that had been reported missing in 1997. It belonged to William Moult. The case that had remained unsolved for 22 years was suddenly explained. Investigators concluded that Moult had likely lost control of his car and driven into the pond late at night. At the time, the area was undeveloped, which meant the pond wasn't clearly visible from the road. Over the years, the neighborhood was built around it, but the car remained hidden beneath the water, until satellite imagery made it visible. The case was officially closed decades after his disappearance. What disturbed many people wasn't just how the case was solved. It was the fact that the car had been sitting there the entire time, visible from above, quietly waiting, and it took a random person scrolling through Google Maps to finally notice it.